So you have shifted yourself. You have broken free from all the addictive habits and all the toxic relationships that you once had. But somehow you keep falling back into the same old patterns. No matter how much you try, you go hard, you work really hard, put your heart, your mind, your body, and soul into whatever you're progressing towards, and you shift yourself to this higher vibrational being. You quit those old addictive habits and you break out from all these toxic relationships, but somehow there's some demonic force that pulls you in and puts you back to the same old habits because that is familiar. All these old habits, that old version of yourself, that old lower vibrational version of yourself, that version of yourself that was in toxic relationships, that addiction, that is what is familiar towards you. And when you become this new person, when you start shifting yourself, you become this whole new person. It's like there's an identity shift, there's a personality shift, and you become this whole new being. And this is not familiar for you. And you backward rationalize, like your subconscious mind, you're not reprogram yourself. You find the old toxic habits familiar. It's like you want to go back. And because why I say this is because familiarity is what we as human beings seek. We find it hard to go do something very unfamiliar. That is why it is so hard for us to step out of our comfort zone. It is so easy to stay in the same old toxic relationship. It is so easy to stay on the couch. It is so easy to stay in bed and not wake up, even though you have to wake up. It is so easy to stay indoors, going outside even though it's raining, and going and doing the things that you love is hard. That is stepping out of your comfort zone. So when you were in toxic relationships, or when you were in toxic old patterns, addictive patterns, and lower vibrational states, it was familiar for you. And familiarity, corresponds to familia, which corresponds to family. You feel that was a familiar part of your identity. It was so close to you, like it's almost like family. And when you start being this whole new being, when you start shifting your states, it's like you don't recognize yourself anymore. This is not familiar. All these new things come as a shock to you, and you kind of go into shock. And then this is so unfamiliar, that is so out of your comfort zone, and you have not conditioned yourself to experience this new reality as it is. So that is why you start slipping back in the same old patterns, the same old habits, and the same old toxic relationships. So this is the whole reason why it's so hard for you to break free. And one more thing is, you don't set your mind. You have not set the complete intention. You're like trying. Just throw out the word try. Cancel the word try. Because trying means you're not putting the 100% of your effort. When you're like, I'm trying my best to be this new version of myself. I'm trying my best. There's a quote from Star Wars. Yoda says, be or be not. There is no try. Either go full 100% or don't go at all. Go all in or do nothing. There is no in between. There is no try. So don't have this intention of trying to get out of toxic relationships, trying to be this higher vibrational being, trying to get out of addictive habits. There's no try. Just go all in or not. So that's the second whole thing, because your intention is, I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. And this kind of reprograms your subconscious mind into believing that that's not attainable, that's not achievable, like you're trying. You're not putting your 100% effort. Take that out of your vocabulary, take that out of your intention, and set a clear goal like, yes, I am free from all these toxic patterns and my old vibrational and my old self. I had all these problems up to now. Don't tell I'm having these problems. That's making it present. It's like your words kind of shape your reality. Your thought patterns, your words that you speak, the words that you think, the words that you say to yourself kind of has this energy field. Words have power, words have meaning, and these create, these shape the reality around you. So instead of saying I'll try, say I'm giving my 100%. Be or be not. There's no try. I'm going all in. And then instead of saying I'm having all these problems, say I have experienced all these problems up to now. That kind of shifts your thinking and also your reality in a way. Like you were facing all these problems, but up to now, from now on, there's a new being, there's a new self. And why it's so hard from breaking out, even though they're so familiar to you, is because a part of you is still stuck in the past. Going out to this new environment, being this new self, being this whole new being is so hard. It is way out of your comfort zone, and you have not trained yourself to step out of your comfort zone on a regular basis. So, what you have to do is give you 100% intention, put 100% intention, give you 100% effort, reprogram the words that you say to yourself. And then, when you start living this as this new being, as this higher vibrational being, breaking out, when you're broken out of these toxic relationships and these addictive patterns, try to experience them to the fullest. It's like we dip our toe into the water. You're like, okay, this is cold, and you run away. That is what, that's what happening. You're coming out being this new version of yourself. It's like you're dipping your toe, and a sense of unfamiliarity and discomfort shocks you, and you go back to that old patterns, the old toxic behavior, and that old lower vibrational state. Why do you want to dip your toe in? Immerse yourself in the water. Stay there for a while. Accustom yourself to this new environment, this new you, to this new beings. And one more reason, this is the most concerning reason is we have fear. We can work on familiarity, we can work on reprogramming ourselves, but the biggest concern for you and every one of us is you have fear of losing the people that you know, the friends that you have, and the family that you know about. You have that fear of losing your identity. You have the fear of being abandoned. Because what happens, I've discussed about this, like why you start losing friends when you start at this journey of self-improvement. Because you're shifting your identity, shifting your state. And this kind of shocks the people around you. And suddenly there's this dissonance. Both of you were here, like your friends, your family, your relatives, the people you know and care about, both of you are on a level, all right? You have so much relatable factors. There's so many things that you have in common. And when you start changing yourself, when you start transforming yourself, transcending yourself to this higher state, there's this dissonance. Suddenly, you don't relate to the same things anymore. Suddenly, you have different interests. You start moving on a different path. There's a different trajectory of your motion, of your life path. And suddenly, your interests kind of don't collide. They, don't, they become very parallel. And it's so hard for you to even have a relatability factor to the people that you know of while you were in toxic relationships, while you were in addictive habits, while you were in your lower vibrational being. Because I had the same experience when I quit, when I was on a journey of quitting my vices, my drinking habits, my smoking habits, my weed habits. I had this dissonance, this disconnection. And even when I'm transcending to this higher states of vibration, I had this dissonance with my own family members. They had known me being in this lower vibrational state. And suddenly when I'm shifting high, suddenly had different interests. And they started seeing me as this whole new different person. They didn't even relate to me anymore. And that kind of gave me that fear, that anxiety. Okay, what if I lose them? I mean, what if I end up alone? These are my friends, these are my family, these are my relatives. Suddenly there's a dissonance of connection, and you kind of feel it. You kind of feel in the moment, and you have this fear because you Me, us as human beings, we have the fear of being alone. We have the fear of being abandoned, and we don't want to experience that. So that is why, out of this fear, we stay in our comfort zone. We stay in toxic relationships. We stay in toxic addictive habits, and we stay in this lower vibrational state. But the best thing that you can do, not only to you but also your family, is to shift. Because when you are in this low vibrational state, you're not only, you know, on the short term, you may feel like it feels good because you're not losing people, but in the long term, you're not only destroying yourself, you're also destroying the people around you. Because toxic relationships and being in this low vibrational state, you think it only affects you. No, it affects everyone around you. Let me tell you this very clearly. These are energy fields, what I'm talking about. When you are experiencing anger, and you are experiencing this lower vibrational state, it's like we as humans, we are very social beings. We connect with each other. And when you meet people, your energy kind of matches them. And you're not only, if you're in this lower vibrational state, you're not only vibrating at that state, you're also pulling people down into your state. That is why you go to these riots, these mob fights, these bar fights. Two people become angry, and suddenly this whole crowd forms around them. Because everybody else did not do the inner work. They are predominantly in the state of anger. And that two guys just shouting was a trigger moment, and boom, they start hitting each other, causing this whole riot. But when you are in this higher vibrational state, you go back to your family, go back to your friends, your friends will start shifting along with you. You'll attract people who are in the same vibration as yours. And then even if your family members or your relatives are not catching up to you and being in this higher vibrational state, you will notice them. If they're vibrating in the state of anger. Because personally, when I go back to some members of my family, they're in this lower vibrational state. They will try time and time again to pull me down, but now, as I have created this familiarity for myself in this newer, higher vibrational state, they realize that whatever they're saying, whatever toxic stuff that comes out of their mouth, and their vibration is not affecting me. So they modify their words, they shift their words. And for that time being, if they're vibrating in the state of anger, guilt, and apathy, and shame, for that moment, while interacting with me, they kind of pacify that and talk in the state of love. They try to communicate with me in the state of love, in the state of joy, in the state of peace. So in a way, when you are in this higher vibrational being, you're forcing other people to communicate and act with you also in a higher vibrational state. Because when you're solidified this new identity, when you're solidified this non-toxic relationship identity, you solidified a healthy relationship identity, and being in this higher vibrational state, you are also setting boundaries at the same time. And when you set all of these and you're there thriving and you're strict about it and you don't seem to get phased or get triggered by any low vibrational trigger or anybody coming and trying to pull you down, and when you're in that state, people will actually shift themselves so that you are comfortable, so that they can even communicate with you. When they realize they're unable to pull you down, they will shift themselves up. So in a way, you are not only being this higher vibrational state, you are also helping other people to experience this higher vibrational state while they talk to you, while they communicate with you, while they spend time with you. And that is amazing. That's the best thing that arises from this. But you have to come out of the fear, face your fears. You have to tell yourself, don't avoid, that fear of abandonment, the fear of losing your friends, the fear of losing your loved ones. Don't just shove it down like the clothes that you put in your closet. Acknowledge them. Face them face to face. Come in terms with the fear. Just tell to yourself that I know if I'm shifting myself, if I'm shifting my habits and being this new vibrational being, I might lose friends. I will lose some toxic friends, but I will also attract people who are in the same higher vibrational state. I know that I will not end up being alone because my wife attracts my tribe. I mean to sound cliche or this Southern California Valley chick like. I mean, I like them because they are very positive. But when you can make all jokes about these Valley girls, but these Valley girls, you can learn a lot from them. They're so positive and they're thriving and they're living life. And at a point, it kind of blends into toxic positivity, but it's fine. They're still happy. They're living life, and you can learn so much more instead of just joking about it. So, anyways, when you're being in this higher vibrational state, you have to reassure yourself, give yourself confidence, give yourself permission to live that experience. Don't try to punish yourself, telling you might lose that toxic person once you change your life. So go back to the toxic person. It doesn't make any sense. Like all this inner work, you're so afraid of being alone that you rather go back being in the toxic state. Rather go back, experience all this painful emotions, experience all this lower vibrational state. And that's the reason why many people don't want to come out of toxic relationships. They don't want to come out of addictive habits. They don't want to come out of the lower vibrational state. It's because they have that fear of abandonment, the fear of being alone, and the fear of losing everybody they know. So reassure yourself, acknowledge the fear that you have, face your fears, overcome them, and then start setting intention. Be or be not. There is no try. There's no middle ground. Go all in or don't go at all. And then when you do all of these, you have this new identity. And don't just dip your toe in the water, immerse yourself. Immerse yourself, accustomed to this new vibration, and watch not only your life, your reality, and your being shift, your consciousness shift, but you'll also watch the people who are close to you will try to shift to your state so that they can even be close to you. It's like they are drawn towards you. You're this light, you're this beacon of light, you're this hope that is standing there, and people are just attracted towards you. Your aura kind of makes them pure for that moment, and they realize just to talk to you, they have to behave a certain way. Even if they put on a front, it's all right, but still they're trying. If they're faking it, if they're faking being in the state of love and coming and talking to you, that's still a good sign because they're trying to shift themselves. So you not only watch yourself shift, but also watch people around you shift their reality.